Mickey 17 movie review. And it's freezing outside, so sorry for the shiver there. But this movie is good. I liked it. It's a nice movie. It's a good movie. It's a nice movie, I have to say. What was I gonna say? What was I thinking of in my head? It's kind of long movie, actually, is it? It's definitely maybe almost like 2 hours. Like most movies are like almost 2 hours, like maybe an hour and a half or something. But I think this movie may be about 2 hours actually. I think so. It's a long movie. Didn't feel the runtime as long though, so that's a good thing. It's a good sign. But what else is there to say on this movie? And I keep saying I hate that I keep doing that, but Steve Yeun, I think that's his name. That's how you pronounce his name. But he's horrible. He's an asshole friend, and he's the reason he got in trouble with that other guy. Cause like Mickey has no family. He has no relatives. So I guess he has like a peddler maybe on Earth. He kind of just scraping by, and he got involved with this guy, like something about macaroon business. It's got comedic elements in the movie, so there's some, and you can tell in the trailer it's got to be like kind of comedic, kind of funny. But he's a piece of shit. He doesn't die or anything, but like when he gets attacked, it's like, yeah, that feels appropriate. But then of course he knows how to manipulate a crowd. He can get his way out of trouble. That's kind of the gimmick with him. And then another person, Mark Ruffalo's character. Ruffalo. His character is also like a piece of shit person. You don't like him either, And his wife too. His wife's also a piece of garbage person. Everybody, like, so they do a good job of being like the villain people. Like, I don't root for them and I want them to die. And there's this incinerator in the ship. And if you fall in the incinerator, obviously, right, you die. Kind of self-explanatory with that, but... And so, yeah, I'm thinking that would be nice to see. You fall in that incinerator and not make it through because you're kind of like a piece of shit person. And I don't think I want to see you go through. And so when Mickey 18 does his, Mickey 18 does the most heroic thing they can do, which is they blow up themselves. They blow up themselves with, what's it called? With that dictator piece of shit guy. They said, fuck it, we're gonna... It's bombs away, we're both gonna die. Blown up to bits, to smithereens, and he presses 18. He tries his wits. That guy also, like, he's used to manipulating people and shit. He tries to manipulate. His name's Marshall, and he was a politician on Earth that he failed the election 2 times. This guy failed the election 2 times. This guy, right? So, piece of shit guy as well. What was I thinking of in my head for this film? There's so much to say. I guess there is. Maybe you can see a parallel with Donald Trump, I guess, and sort of, because it's the character that he is. He's very, where he brandishes himself very, like flamboyantly, like very like flaunting and boisterous sort of demeanor, personality, the character, and his wife, she's right by his side. There's a scene where they have this dinner scene, and the dinners are just a ploy to get people that he wants alone in a room with. And we find out that for Mickey, it was so that he can eat like this meat prototype thing and see how that would react in a human body. And then like his main scientist guy, I like that he's like taller than all the other people. He's taller and bigger, like it's a physically larger, taller person, than all the other scientists. So when they do their scientist photos, he like sticks out like a sore thumb. It's kind of funny. And then we think like it's a, when they do the picture with the little vial thing, you're thinking that it's like maybe it's the antidote, right? It's the vaccine for the viruses in the air so the people don't die when they breathe in the oxygen that's on the air, because this air has, this planet has oxygen. That's a plus for this planet. But no, it's actually fucking, what do you call that shit? It's actually a dangerous nerve gas. They wanted to develop dangerous nerve gas because reasons. This guy, this power-hungry people will use anything to stay in power, and killing people is one way, and it's just, so when he dies, I'm like, yes. And then that bitch, apparently she died the day after he dies, because I'm like, you gotta kill that bitch too. And then they arrested the other dude with the, whatever that piercing would be called, the piercing under the lip, which I thought was an interesting touch for his character, made him distinctive in a way. But like, you have to kill that piece of shit. You gotta kill so many people in this movie. There's like a coup. They orchestrated a coup that one gentleman, that I guess he's like the head honcho of the police or whatever, like he's like Mickey's girlfriend's boss. They fucking, he organizes like a coup, I guess, and they take over the leadership of the ship. There's a council though. There is a council of people, but like, he's a puppet. This guy, like, maybe some of them are a puppet and they're loyal to Marshall, so they're always gonna vote yes on his stuff. It's kind of like the Congress now, right, where there's gonna be people in the Congress that are always gonna be against Trump no matter what, and there's people that are always gonna be for him, right, regardless. And so, but I guess that's just a given. Maybe it's like a parallel American politics in a way, this film, or like how the politics are now, or just politics in general in any country. That's sort of like, there's always like it seems two sides are more favorable than the multiple sides, I guess. But I digress. Back to the movie. What was I thinking of in this film? For this film, the end credits. I didn't stick around for the entirety of the end credits, but there was one scene where the end credits has kind of like carnival music playing, and I thought that was an interesting touch for the musical score. I like the look of the numbers, because we're in the future, so we got like futuristic gadgets, but then we also have some devices that look sort of like steampunky. I don't know, like it feels like, I like the kind of mix of like, some things are practical and we gotta leave it that way, and some things are gonna be more imaginative and futuristic-ish. But that's kind of a nice touch. The planet, I forgot what it's called. The planet, you take 4 years to get to this planet, and this intergalactic shipbuilding. You have to ration your food, and the way the food rations even work even outs you. Like when you're going in the lunch line to get food, if you take more calories than you're being allotted to, you get ousted. Like you get ousted. Like, it's fucking ridiculous, is it? But okay. And I guess that's, the whole social, you gotta control the population. These people are like mice. And when Marshall has that dinner, he says to this one girl, Kai, that's her name is Kai. He says to this one girl, Kai, and we see, like, she is beautiful, she's attractive, she looks nice, but I think it's more so she's a loyal follower of his, like, and so it's like, but he's like proposing that he's going to mate with her, I guess. You've been selected to be the first to help populate the planet with superior humans, the natural way. So, like, you want to fuck me? That's why you brought me in here? And that's what she even says. Am I just a uterus to you? That's why I'm not a person. You're telling me all these, oh, you're so good with this, and all blah, blah, blah. But is that what all I am to you? I'm just a uterus? I'm something to be used to implant your supposedly superior human race being of some sort? Or sort of eugenics-y, in a way. It's just an awkward, odd scene, and then the prayer was like hilarious. They're not religious at all. Sometimes he says the business. He says, "Oh yeah, the church." The church. And there's a symbol. I don't feel we ever got into much detail with the church business symbol. The business that they're calling it a church for tax reasons, probably, and some other weird reasons. There are people that definitely worship. They worship this Marshall guy. They see this guy as like their deity, so maybe that's where the church aspect comes into play, and with that. And what was I thinking in my head? The loan shark dude, this loan shark gentleman out there, because the whole reason they go on the planet in the first place is to escape the potential, this loan shark guy, Because I guess they owe him money. That's what it is. They owe him money. They cannot repay his debt. And this guy, he kills people. He fucking chops you up. They kidnapped him, but it was just to show an example of, like, I'm not gonna kill you just yet, but let me show you what's gonna happen if you don't pay. If you try to snub me, let me show you what happens. And they had this other gentleman. It's apparently this guy's also in trouble with him, and sure enough, they kill this guy. They chop him up into pieces. They even when they give the handwritten message with the diagram of the human body, it shows like the dotted lines. Like, that's how you're gonna cut the person up, by the way, when you do it. And he says, and she like Steve, there's a scene when they're in jail because they find out about the double situation and blah blah blah. It's a whole tobacco, whatever the term is, that sounds similar to that. And we're presented with, like, he's like, oh, I gotta have video evidence of me cutting you up because that's supposed to repay the debt, I guess. Repay the debt in some sense, I guess. But she kind of brings up a good point with, like, you think this guy's gonna stop going after you because you did that? Nah, he's still gonna go after you. And then also you gotta contend with me. You gotta contend with me and Mickey 17, our Mickey, the Mickey that we're rooting for. Although we do kind of root for 18 at some point, and it's heroic that 18 sacrifices himself. So he redeems himself, that Mickey redeems himself. But yeah, the one Mickey, how do you call? He says, like, I guess it's, in some sense, in some odd, vaguely sort of morbid sense, it is sort of endearing that, wow, you feel so much love for me that you're willing to chop up this you're willing to commit murder. Is it? Because it's still murder nonetheless, regardless if the person is bad and their intentions are evil, we don't like them, but it is still technically murder. You're willing to chop them up into pieces on my behalf because that's what they're gonna do to me. Oh, my friend, I have to do this for you. You have to do this for me. And I guess Steve Yeun, he does kind of have a point actually with that, because, like, theoretically, if you're an expendable, if I chop you up, it's okay because then you get to come back to life anyway. But then you have the memory of what, then there's this memory, right, aspect of it. I don't know. I like that there's one scene, we see in the trailer, where Steve Yeun's character looks towards the camera, and it's as if he's looking towards us, the audience, and he does that in the film even, but presumably he's alone in that vehicle. So I think that's a really interesting, like, I guess he is actually looking towards us, the audience, because what else would be the reason to include that scene for, right? What would be the reason to conclude it? Besides us to just highlight that one fact again. But yeah, his character is a piece of shit, and Naomi's character, her reaction to the two doubles, it's not what I was expecting, really. I don't think any of the crowd was expecting, but we needed that reaction, right? Because obviously, and she's like, oh, relax, if you saw two of me, you would be just excited. No, I don't think I would. I would be confused, and I don't know how I'd be confused first and foremost. But yeah, her reaction is interesting to it. And she's the one, she becomes the mediator to calm them down, and, like, because they are correct. The one Mickey 18 tried to kill him, but then Mickey 18 Mickey tried to kill 17, right? But then 18 says, like, hey, but, like, I saw 17 with the dumbbell behind me at some point. Now he put it down. He didn't have the, and that's the kind of difference. Mickey 18 is definitely more cold, more callous. Now the Mickeys come out a little bit different, and I guess maybe they're like different archetypes of his. See, that's the question. Are they different archetypes of his personality, or can they function? And that's where they even talked about this in the film, the legality of, like, the clones. If it's a, it has your memory, so it has, like, the consciousness of you, but it is a separate being, a separate body from you. So in a way, it is like a different person, but I guess it's part of you. But then in some sense, even the mind isn't the same, because, and that's where the legality of it came into play. The Mickey clones, they're like sort of not actually the same person in a way. They're sort of different. And this practice is banned on Earth, and then we see 6 months later in this film, they decided we're gonna ban the practice of printing people on this planet as well. It's kind of very controversial. You can see why. Not even just for the murder part that they explain on Earth. I guess that was more that really justify why we need to ban it. But yeah, this film, I liked it. I enjoyed this movie very much. I liked it very, very much. Mickey 17. And I figured it out from the trailer. I said it must be like he's the 17 Mickey. But I guess that was easy to figure out in some retrospect. But that concludes my review of Mickey 17. Thank you for listening.